So, oh, hi Pin, come here girl. I was recording and then the light went off and it just literally came back and Pin got scared, so she came up here. She's all cute. Oh my gosh, and it's raining. Okay, I'll get back. Hi guys, I hope you're all having a good day so far. It is raining here, so it's taken me some time to start this video because the light has gone off, and then like my dog is also here present. Ew. So just excuse her if she's like trying to jump on stuff and whatnot. I'm also in Jackie's room, so shout out to Jackie for letting me, actually she didn't let me borrow her room, I just came up here, but yeah. Anyway, so it's taken me a very long time to start this video and just a video in general, because honestly, I'm kind of scared of how like this might go, of like what people will say or think or whatever. But you know, this Sunday at church, the priest was talking about that as people that follow God, we are often persecuted, and bless you. And you know, it might be like not like in a torturous way, like physically, but we are often persecuted with words, with thoughts, maybe physically, and it greatly affects us. So, but what better way to get persecuted in order to give God the glory? So here I am attempting my first video. I've had many topics in mind, but this one was kind of like an urgent matter of what my point of view is of sex before marriage, and birth control, which are both super big topics, you know, being a Christian or a Catholic, and, you know, just living our life out of sin, especially what this society, what this world tells us that we should be doing, what should we not be doing, and you know, what makes us better people and whatnot. So I want to just, you know, give my point of view, obviously, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a professional, so you know, sometimes my facts might not be accurate. They're just my opinions, obviously my thoughts. So I'll always speak from my heart. I'll give you my honest opinion about anything. And yeah. All right, so I don't even know which one to start first with, but I'll start with sex before marriage first. What my point of view of sex before marriage. Obviously, you know, unfortunately, I wasn't a virgin when I got married. I wish so much that I would have waited until marriage, because my husband is super amazing and he deserves my purity. But he still receives my purity even though I did not wait until marriage. So us Catholics or us Christians, you know, we believe that marriage is a covenant. Marriage is two bodies becoming one. So whenever you do get married, right, it's not like running off to the courthouse. Like, yes, like you're legally married, but it's not like a covenantal, or I don't even know if that's a word, like, you know, you're not making that covenant with God and becoming one person. So if you are just like legally married and you're living together, or, you know, whatever, like you are, you know, unfortunately living in sin, because you haven't made that covenant with God and your spouse. So three becoming one. So, I mean, you know, that to me was super important for me to be able to, you know, get married through the church, make a covenant, and fully understand what it is to be in a marriage. You know, and it has its challenges and it's so complicating sometimes, but whenever you do see that it is a sacrament, it is a covenant, like a promise that you have made with your significant other and God, that is like the most beautiful thing, because that will like overcome any kind of problem or situation that you may have. But anyway, so marriage, you know, is two people becoming one with God in the center of your marriage. And with that being said, you are open to life. You are open to creating a family. You are open to just, you know, you're the other person and what they might think, what they might believe, what they feel, everything. You are their number one supporter in anything, pretty much. And when you get married, you are accepting that you are open to life. You are open to children. That is literally one of the questions that the priest asks you when you get married. Are you open to children? And I mean, I'm kind of curious to know if anyone has said no, but I don't think so, because then you just wouldn't be like a faithful Catholic. But that is a question that is brought up, and, you know, are you open to children? And, you know, for the majority of the part, or I mean, it should always be yes. So when we said yes, it's like, yeah, we are ready. You know, we want a family. We want our wedding vows to become flesh. And that's literally what it means. In marriage prep class, we learned that whenever a married couple does have sex, it is their wedding vows becoming flesh. And then when you have children, it's like, wow, like here is like your little flesh, like your, like what you both created. Like, and I think that's like super awesome. And like, it like makes like total sense, like now that like I'm pregnant, and it's like, wow, like, you know, like my child, you know, was made out of this marriage, was made out of these wedding vows, was made out of this covenant, that this promise that God has made us. And now we're allowing our child, you know, to be born, to, you know, bringing him into our lives. And it's exciting, you know, but excuse me, but when you have sex out of marriage, like, I get it, you know, like I've been in love before, or I thought I was in love before, and, you know, it's happened, and you just think that you're going to be with that person for the rest of your life, and good for you if you are going to be with that person for the rest of your life. But what better way, like giving your body, like you are literally giving your body, you're giving your soul to your spouse. You're exchanging your body. Like, it's just becoming one. Like, once you have sex, like you can even tell me, like, you know, you have that like desire and that like bond that makes it even harder if you have a problem in your relationship to break up because of that bond, because you have given your body to someone else. And you could be like, oh, well, I already like slept with this guy, I already did this with this guy, but it's like, yeah, but he wasn't your husband, you know. And like that makes it even harder to even like, it clouds your judgment, you know, your thoughts, to say like, you know, this person isn't the one for me. But because you've been open to this sacrament that you haven't even celebrated, it makes it just that much harder to walk away from. So like I said, so in my past, like that's what it has been, you know. I had, you know, unfortunately didn't save myself for marriage, and I gave my body to somebody else. But and do I repent from that? I do, because once I found my husband, I was like, wow, like I totally wish that I would have saved myself for you, like just for you. Like, you're the only person that deserves my body. And so yeah, you know, I really encourage that, you know, you saved yourself for marriage, for that right person. And, you know, if it is your boyfriend now, or your girlfriend, whoever's watching this, like, you know, you don't have to keep on going just because you already did it. You can stop at any time. And it takes a lot of sacrifices. It takes a lot of, you know, like, there's a lot of temptation, obviously, because you've already experienced it. But, excuse me. But you can definitely stop. You don't have to keep on going just because, like, you know, you already did it. And if really that's the case, like if that's like the only thing that's holding you in your relationship, like, oh, we already had sex, like, well, I can't do anything about it, like, you are wrong. Clearly, I've met the love of my life and I am married, and, those other people just, whatever, like, I'm not attached to them anymore. So it obviously takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of, self, like, I don't want to say discipline, but maybe discipline, to be able to say, like, no, like, yeah, we already had sex, but, I want to stop. Like, you deserve, like, either me or somebody else to be able to give you their body, through the sacrament of marriage, or, like, I deserve, to have, my future husband, like, have my body. He deserves my body. So it does take a lot, and it's very tempting, to not fall into that temptation again. And if you do, we have a beautiful sacrament of reconciliation that you guys can both go to. So if you guys aren't, like, Christians or Catholics or whatever you are, I highly encourage that you both start, like, getting to know who God is, getting to know what God really wants for you. Does he really want you and that person to be together, or does he have someone else for you? Which is sometimes really hard when you're like, you feel like you're totally in love with this person right now, and then you're kind of like, but I don't know, So that's why it's so important to pray to God, and also to pray for your future spouse, because your future spouse can probably be going through the same thing as you are right now, not knowing if the person he's with, if that's the person for him or not. So I would definitely try to, pray together, read books together about how to, like, improve in your relationship, build a stronger relationship with God in the center. With God in the center of your guys' lives, it is definitely so much more easier, because you have God to fall back on, and that God forgives you for anything that you have done. And yeah, so that's what I think about sex before marriage. I highly encourage that that you all wait until you are married. It just makes it so much more worth it. Now, birth control. Oh, okay. So I have been a person that has been on birth control before. In fact, I believe I was on birth control for like 5 years, which is a super long time. And I was just one of those people that were like, well, I'm not using it because of sex. I'm not using it, like, whatever, like, it's not affecting me, like, I don't have any symptoms or whatever. Okay. Anyway, long story short, when I was younger, I used to have ovarian cysts. So it was obviously like a medical condition, and my doctor was like, oh, here you go. Here is birth control for you, and that should help you with that, okay? That should help you with that. It's like, it's not like you're, like, curing what's going on. I was still going to the hospital. I was still having that pain. So clearly it wasn't helping me with that. And there's so many of us that are like, oh, I have bad acne, birth control. I have cramps, birth control. I have a super, like, hard menstrual period, birth control. Like, I have, like, XYZ, birth control. It's like if you're, like, on the opera show and you're like, birth control for you and one for you, and, like, we're all eligible for birth control. And that's kind of sad, because like the doctor doesn't really know what, like, our body, like, what our body really is, and it's like, they think that just by giving us birth control that everything is just going to be, like, cured, right? That's like just putting, like, a band-aid on something and being like, this is just a temporary fix. But what about on the long run? What does birth control actually do to you? Okay, so if you, like, actually Google, like is it normal for birth control to whatever? Like, there's so many things that pop up. I have headaches because of birth control. Like, I'm depressed because of birth control. I can't sleep. I still have pain. I still have this or that because of birth control. Like, clearly birth control is not like a solution or a cause to something. It only affects us on the long run. And if you are, I don't even know, but I would really recommend that you talk to your doctor, because it's like, it's so easy for the doctor to just be like, just take birth control because of like a medical condition. There's something else. There definitely is something else, and it is your doctor's job. They've went to school for many years for that, to be able to prescribe you something that will actually help and not destroy your body. Birth control is literally made up of artificial hormones. Like, you are putting like literally crap into your body. Sorry to say that, but you are. And you know, it's like so many of us are like trying to eat healthy, trying to be, you know, like vegetarian or vegan or whatever you guys do. I don't do, but you know, but I do try to eat like healthy. But imagine if you're just like, oh, I'll eat super healthy, but I'll put birth control. Like, you know, that doesn't like balance it out. Like, it doesn't work that way. You know, like, you're just putting like bad chemicals into your body. So it's like, if you're trying to like, you know, like go like super like natural with like your makeup or like, you know, your hair, or I don't know what you guys, some of you guys do, which is like super awesome. Like, that's so awesome that you guys are like that. But like, if you're like throwing birth control into your body, you know, like that's like not okay, you know. And that goes like for every kind of birth control pill, birth control injection, birth control patch, all the other stuff, you know, like, just, you know, get informed, really get informed, and see what birth control really does to your body. Birth control, obviously, if you're using it for a medical reason, if you're using it, you know, to not get pregnant, that kind of goes back until like the sex before marriage kind of part, because again, you know, like when you are getting married, you're saying yes to children, okay? So if you are like, for sure, like, I am saying yes to children, why would you want to prevent having a child with your spouse? I get it. It can be like for financial reasons, or, you know, medical like concerns, or it can be for many reasons. And am I saying that waiting is bad? Absolutely not. You know, waiting is good, but there are other ways that you can wait, that you can prevent, like, or have like a God plan out your like children. There is this awesome thing called natural family planning, and it is literally not putting anything into your body, which is like super awesome. It's really getting to know your body, like how your body works. When are you most fertile? When are you ovulating? When is a good time to, you know, exchange your vows with your husband, and to like either wait to have kids or to have kids, you know. And it's like, you're not harming your body in any way. And I think that it's a beautiful way for the both of you, like your husband and or your wife, you know, to really get to know like your bodies, and, you know, actually saying like, hey, is this a good time, you know, to like be intimate? And if not, then we can find other ways to be intimate, you know, by like going out on a date or like doing other stuff. Like, you know, like sex isn't always just the way out to, you know, express your love to somebody else. But yeah, so if you are looking for an alternative, natural family planning will be our go-to after we have our baby. We did not practice it after we got married because we were trying to have a baby, and thankfully we have one. But I will have to look more into, you know, like how it all works, because I honestly don't know yet. But that was something that was recommended to us when we were doing our marriage prep classes, and it is obviously approved by the Catholic Church. Excuse me. But going back to that, if you are having sex out of marriage, clearly you're just doing it for your own desire. You're doing it for, you know, what you think is, not even what you think is best, but literally, yeah, just for your own desire, or for the desire of your significant other. Because clearly you don't want to have children if you are on birth control for that reason. So you being on birth control and having sex out of marriage is basically saying that you don't really care about the sacrament of marriage. You don't care about, you know, the creation that could follow behind that. Because if you do get pregnant, what then? You know, like, that's like a different like thing that we're gonna go through, like, hopefully in the future. But you know, like, what your options? What are you going to do? Which obviously for Catholics, we are for life. We are pro-life. And being on birth control, you are saying no to life, because you're saying, I want to have sex, but I don't want to have a kid yet. So that's like basically what it's saying. So that is something that obviously I am against. What was I going to say? But yeah, like, you know, birth control just really uses your body. It doesn't like know your body. And have you like seen that like now you can actually just order it online? Like, there's been so many ads on like Facebook or Instagram that just pop up and say like, hey, like, order your like annual like prescription like now, you know, like actually speak to a doctor. Like, I'm sorry, what? You know, like, no, it is not how it works. Okay. But yeah, I am totally against birth control. It's just so bad, everything that like goes into your body from that chemical. And also, like, the sacrament of marriage, you know, like accepting the children part, you know, it's like, if you are having sex and you're like, no, like, I don't want kids, I just like want like the desire, like, you're actually using the other person, and you're like, you're allowing yourself, or you're allowing them to use yourself. And nobody likes to be used, okay? Like it is actually a sin, like, you know, one, to have sex out of marriage. But even like when you are married and you're just like, I'm just gonna do it for my own desire, like, that is actually a sin. Like, I'm not sure if you knew that, but because nobody wants to be used. Like, nobody goes to bed and is like, oh, I'm going to use you, I'm going to sleep with you. Like, no, like, that's not how it works. You know, like, why would you sterilize the sacrament? Like, you know, like, in that way with birth control or just using somebody. It's like if we went to church and the priest was, or whatever, the priest was like, you know, like, may God not bless you, you know, or like, God, do not bless this food, or, you know, like, I hope something bad happens to you. It's like, well, where is the goodness in this? You know, that like literally like sterilizes the sacrament again. You know, or like as Catholics, you know, we have the Eucharist. What if like the priest was like, may this bread not become Jesus, and may this wine not become the blood of Jesus? Like, it would be like, what? Are you serious? Like, then why are we here? Okay? So again, you know, like, the sacrament of marriage, again, is two people becoming one flesh. In order to have more little children, you know, to have little flesh, you know, like out of your marriage. And if you are putting birth control into your body, if you are, you know, preventing children, then, you know, you are sterilizing the sacrament. You are saying no to the covenant of marriage. So yeah. So I would say, get informed, really get to know the sacrament of marriage, of, you know, kind of like ways that you can improve in your relationship, or, you know, even your marriage now, if that's what it has come down to. But other than that, I don't know. But if you have any questions about, you know, how to, you know, prepare for marriage, or what can you do with your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, like before you get married, you know, what are good ways to get closer to God, or, you know, if you need help looking for an alternative of birth control, let me know. And, you know, like I said, I don't really know like everything, but I would be more than happy to research with you and, you know, get to learn as well, because we all need it. Someone else will need it in the future, and what better way than to get informed and be able to help them. So if you need any books, if you need any special prayers or something, let me know and I will recommend something for you. And yeah, God bless you.